Matt Cook here with Jonathan Green, and we have a question that I wanted to ask you, Jonathan, that has come in. I think that's interesting. This man says, I started seeing a girl I like, and she's reserved, but, we have a decent conversation. And recently, over the weekend, we had some plans, and then she canceled. She said her stomach was upset. Then we said we'd meet the next day. Okay, but she just wasn't really communicating, wasn't really responding. Finally, I said, let's have a quick dinner. So we have a quick dinner. This is only like the third date. We have a goodbye that we say. It just didn't feel really, physically responsive. I see that she's got really good qualities, but I don't know if she's really responding. And so do I just need to be patient, or am I doing something wrong? What do you think? Maybe she's shy. So what do you advise that I do?
She's not shy. It's definitely not that. There are a couple of possibilities, and I'll kind of work through each of them. The first is that she's sick. So if she's actually sick, or and not feeling well, stomach ache, she's feeling kind of gross on the inside. You can't always see that, but it really can kill your mood, right? It's really hard. Like, that's why, I don't eat Indian food on dates, right? Because an hour later, your tummies are both rumbling. It's hard to stay romantic, right? When you're rushing to the bathroom and hoping the other person doesn't hear what's happening. So that's a possibility. It's not very likely, but maybe it's a 1 in 10 chance that that's what's happening. So sometimes what we do as men is we overreact, and we think that because we're so used to women lying to us, that we think it's the lie, when it's like, no, it's the one time it's actually happening, right? Like, it's actually, no, I really am sick. I'm not trying to reject you. And it's hard for me to feel romantic and want to hug you because I feel gross inside, right? So that's one possibility, because she did show up for the dinner. The second possibility is that women do not date the way men do. Women always have multiple options. And you can do an experiment like this. You can post a picture of a woman that you think no one would like, throw her on Tinder, and she's going to get 100 matches a week. It doesn't matter what a woman looks like, what her appearance is, and obviously you like someone, she's attractive, but anywhere on the spectrum, women get men don't understand this, right? Because I see women that, I'm shocked, and I only got 100 matches this week. And for a guy, if you get 100 matches in your lifetime, you're a winner, right? If you get 100 matches over the course of 1,000 years, you're really doing well. If you get one match every 10 years, that's great. So we don't really understand that. And so women will have a lot of men in the waiting room, or whatever you call it, where the pitchers are warming up, saying, oh, if this guy doesn't work out, I have something else going on. And it could be as simple as this.
The burner, like the stove, I've heard it said, there's a 6-burner stove. She's got people on the back burner, and she's got one front burner going, and she can always move them around.
The problem with that metaphor is there's only 6 burners, and I think a lot of women are closer to 12 guys in the rotation. So I've had it happen. This has happened to me, and this has probably happened to most guys who are watching this right now, is that I met a woman on Saturday night. I set up a dinner for Sunday. She goes, oh, I can't make it. Let's meet on Monday. She texted me Monday morning. I got back to with my ex last night. So women also keep their exes active at a certain level. So you're not only dealing with current guys, friend zone guys, other guys she's meeting while she's out, you're also dealing with exes. So it's very possible that what happens is you're being pushed to the back burner, and if you don't do something, that's where you're going to end up, right? In the kind of friend zone thing, or the waiting, or there's this scene in How I Met Your Mother where he knows this girl that's always in a relationship. She's only ever single for a few hours, then she's with the next guy. And so when everyone hears she's single, everyone runs over to her house and hopes they're the first one she talks to. And that's the kind of guy you don't want to be, right? You don't want to be in that position of where you're kind of waiting. So there's a couple of things happening here. The first is that when you go on a first date, you have to get physical. And physical doesn't mean bedroom. Physical means touch. You really have to think of dating. Most of us think of dating as conversation, but dating is not conversation. Dating is jujitsu. You have to get in close. You have to smell each other. You have to touch each other. That's real dating. Real dating is really 10% words and 90% your bodies getting to know each other, which is like holding hands, doing a thumb wrestling, playing high five, doing a palm reading. All these things sound silly, but they're massive builders for attraction. The danger that you're falling into, and this is probably what's happening, this is option number 3, is that you friend zoned yourself. So when you say things like she's shy, to me, that's a massive red flag that you've misinterpreted something that happened, because I've never met a woman who's shy. In my experience, the more a woman kind of projects a shyness, there is a side to her that's very very, very wild. There's almost a perfect correlation between misinterpretation and how wild she is. And so what you're seeing is what you want to see. We're projecting, oh, she's a librarian. Yeah, that's not a real character type. That's only in movies. So most likely what's happened is you didn't touch her, hold her hand, put your hand on her lower back when she walked through the doorway, smell her hair, any of the things that are kind of physical attraction, like signals to her. And she's starting going, oh, this guy is like lukewarm about me, so I'm gonna be lukewarm about him. So she's pulling back because you're not acting like a man. I know there's a lot of shifts, and I know guys who like their wives proposed, and I know guys who like their wife asked them out for the first time, and it's like the era of the beta man getting the girl, and that's true if you're rich, right? You do. That's
it's
the
not
thing
really
that kind of
true.
throws.
It's not really true.
Exactly. It's like, oh, this such a beta, but he's also making $10 million a month, right? So is he really a beta or a character? So very important to understand that the way you can't beat Mother Nature. Mother Nature always wins. Over a long time period, Mother Nature wins 100 out of 100 times. So if we ignore the way we're genetically predisposed, we ignore the way we're designed, then we're always going to struggle. So what you have to do is lead. You simply cannot be passive. And it sounds like you're passively dating, which is where you go, I'll take her out. Oh, she can't make it. I'll invite her on another day, and I'll invite her on another day, and we'll see what happens. And we'll sit really far apart. And also, dinner date is the worst type of date that exists. Dinner date is the least likely date to lead to a relationship of any different possible date you can go on, right? So, and I could go down the path of talking about that, but dinner dates are just designed to kill attraction. They're like scientifically designed to make someone unattracted to you. So, don't go on dinner dates. Instead,
he does say, he says, I tried to offer her the keys to planning something, but she doesn't respond, so I end up giving her several options which she chooses from when the date happens.
Stop. You're literally breaking my heart here. Okay, so here's what a woman wants. Hey, we're going to do A, B, and C. Do you want to come and do it or not do it? That's an invitation.
Mm-hmm,
when you're invite a woman on a date and you go, hey, it's like if I say to you, hey, do you want to go to movie night? And you go, sure. I go, okay, pick it. You're like, what? Like, I'm giving you an assignment. Also pick a restaurant. Also you drive. Also you pay. You take away the invitation element. Invitation is, I'm inviting you on an adventure and I have something planned. As soon as you start saying, okay, what movie do you want to see? What thing do you want to do? You're forcing her to act like the man in the relationship because you're forcing her to be the decision maker. And the reason a date is different than going out with your friends is that for a woman, they don't have to make any decisions except for, do I want to do this or not do this? It's the big picture decision. Once you start making her choose from date options and all those other things, you're forcing her to activate the decision-making part of her brain, which is not fun. The funness for a woman is going on a date is like, this guy's going to take me on an adventure and I don't really know exactly what we're going to do, but I'm excited to see what happens. That's really fun feeling. Once you make her get involved in the planning, which comes from a lot of bad men's magazines in the 90s, you remove that from her and she no longer gets to go on adventures. Instead, she goes on to things she's planned. It's not exciting. There's such a big difference between going to an event you planned and going to an event someone else planned, right? It's like the difference between going to a party you planned and a surprise party. So there's this mistake we have that we think women want to be involved in every decision and they don't want to be surprised anymore. They don't want to be romanticized anymore. They want to choose where you go. And the problem is that as well, women will choose what's familiar rather than what's attractive. And so you pull yourself into friend-zoney dates that aren't very interested. You're not leading. So you're not leading as far as choosing the dates. You're not leading as far as physicality. You're not leading as far as emotion. You're not leading as far as like letting her know you are attracted to her. There's a very good chance that I would say based on this stuff, I would say there's an 80% chance you've got at least one foot in the friend zone for sure. Because everything you're describing is how I hang out with my friends, right? You talk to your friends, which movie should we see? I don't know, this movie, that movie, right? Where should we go to dinner? I want to go here. I want to go there. You're describing how friends interact. And the more you act like a friend, the more that's what you become. So if you're attracted to this woman, you need to tell her. You need to say things like, I want to take you on a boy-girl date with kissing. Sometimes you have to use those exact words because women will try to slide. If women could get away with it, they would put every single man they meet in the friend zone because then they would just get unlimited free dinners and unlimited presents. That's what they're really trying to do.
They would have sex. They would have sex sometimes, but only at their sole.
Well, not with you.
Yeah, that's right. That's the bad guy. Doesn't pay for anything. But the best date, this applies to relationships. I took my wife on a trip, and I didn't tell her where we were going, and she just enjoyed it so much, and she just loved it. And I think that's a really good idea, even when you're in relationships. There's a very famous experiment where they were trying to sell these different types of jam, like raspberry, blueberry, and all of that. And they found that if they offered people a choice of lots of jams, nobody wanted to buy any. But if they just said, "Do you want raspberry or blueberry?" they would sell a lot of jams. It's like, that's a very small choice. You don't give people a big choice. And then what you're saying is, in this case, you don't want to give them a choice at all other than, yes, you want to go with me, or no, you don't. And so he's offering her choices. He's being very, very beta. And then he says, I need to be patient with this one and slowly show her my worth. And that made me feel like a sinking feeling. I need to slowly show her my worth.
Well,
what do you
allow
think?
me to tell you a piece of information. Throughout the entirety of human history, whether the Earth is 3 million years old or 500 billion years old, I don't care. No woman has ever slept with a man after realizing his worth. It's literally never happened, and you're not going to be the exception to that rule. That's not how women think. It's not how women behave. Women decide within about 30 seconds whether or not this is a guy they want to be intimate with. So the second you start putting yourself into this category of, and also what you're describing is a bad relationship dynamic. You're saying she's here, I'm here, and I have to prove to her, no, I'm here. That comes from a place of low self-esteem. It comes from a lot of bad language. It comes from a lot of bad media over the last 30 years. It's like, a beautiful woman is so much better than you, so you have to make more money or have an amazing body or be famous to date a beautiful woman. And you have to kind of create this, you have to overcome a power imbalance. Now, the way traditional men have done it is to raise themselves up, right? To become richer or whatever. And then in dating for a while, there was this strategy to like lower a woman's self-esteem so that you could lower her level to yours. That's all because you're starting from the wrong place, okay? All people are equal. I've met beautiful women that are horrible on the inside, like just absolutely monstrous. And I've also met beautiful women that are unbelievably kind on the inside. There's not really a strong correlation between looks and personality. That's like the big lie that unattractive women have convinced everyone that beautiful women are mean. It's not true. I've met unattractive women that are really, really mean, like astounding. So just let go of that. Every person you meet, you and them are equal. You both start out at the same level. What you're not trying to convince her to like you. You're trying to see if you guys are a good fit. If you switch to that mindset of we're both two people trying to see if we're a good fit, I'm trying to see if she's a good fit for me, trying to see if I'm a good fit for her, that removes so much pressure, because just this tiny linguistic change, instead of trying to prove, because you kind of are assuming that you like her just based on how she looks on the outside. And I told this story before. I went on a date with a girl who, like, 30 seconds in, said something really racist, like shocking. And I'm from the South. I was invited to join the KKK when I was in high school. And I was like, but guys, I'm Jewish. They're like, we're not really focused on that right now. And I was like, interesting pitch. Still nervous. But then that's the thing, is that she was like really heavy thing. And I was like, wow, I must be projecting something that says I'm down for this. Because normally I always thought you warm up to it. Right. But obviously I was like, maybe I can heal her with the power of my body. So of course I still tried my best to save her. But that's the thing, is that
The penis can heal a lot of things for women.
Really tried. I really gave it 110%.
It really can. The penis is very, I always tell my wife that the healing power is amazing, and she agrees with me.
So that's the thing to understand, is when you meet someone, they could still be horrible.
Yeah.
Not everyone. There are beautiful people. It's like the picture of Dorian Gray, right? He's so beautiful, then the painting at home looks ugly because he's a monster. There are people that look beautiful, they're still monsters, and there are people that look ugly, they're still beautiful. So you have to let go of that, and you have to say, I want to meet this person. I want to go on a date with you to find out if we're a good match. And here's a great way to say it: is if you're really nervous, you can just say, excuse me, you're so beautiful. I just wanted to talk to you and find out if you're as beautiful on the inside as you're on the outside. And sometimes you'll find out, oh no, the inside of you is terrible. You should really keep your personality secret. And sometimes, like, I've been friends with some women that were like astoundingly beautiful, and it was really confusing because they were really nice people. And you don't expect that. The first time that happens, you're like, wait, I thought, aren't you supposed to be judgmental and mean? And some women are just very, very kind and very, very sweet. So there's not this heavy correlation we think of. So It's important to let go of this. I have to prove myself to her or show my worth. That's a really stupid thing to say. Why would someone go on a date with you if you're not worthy of the very first date, right? Why would someone talk to you? Here's how you know a woman is attracted to you. She's still talking to you after 5 minutes. Because every one of us has had a woman who within the first 5 minutes goes, yeah, I don't want to talk to you, and walks away. Like if a woman doesn't like you enough, it's escalating rudeness. At first she's like, oh, I have to go back to my friends. Then it's like, listen, I don't know if we're compatible. And then it's like, listen, I hate you. Let me leave, right? Women are not afraid to exit a conversation. It's a misnomer. Women have never been afraid to exit a conversation. And they know how to say things that make you want to shut up. So
I got the boyfriend, the suddenly emerging boyfriend excuse, most often.
Yeah, it's very common. Or the I'm a lesbian thing is very common. And a lot of women just do that to see how you react. And it's like, all that stuff happens. But really, if you just have to learn to kind of socially calibrate, which is like to be not to, and it's a more complicated issue, but it's like, don't make everything a big deal. Like I went on a date once with this girl. This is one of my best stories is I went on a date I met a girl in a nightclub. I got her number. We went on a date. She came to my house. We hung out. We had like beers together and took pictures. And she was like a 10 out of 10 lesbian. She was like a lesbian who was dating tons of women. And her description of the date was completely different to mine. I found the pictures like 2 years later. We became really good friends, and because she dated a lot of beautiful, like really beautiful women. And she was like, that was not a date, dude. That was me hanging out with you and broing out. Her interpretation of what happened, very different to mine. So there's going to be misinterpretation, but the more you don't leave the door open for that, right? And the more of like you don't react. So when I found out she was like dating tons of women, I didn't overreact. I was like, oh, that's cool. I wasn't like, wow, you tricked me. You owe me for one beer that you drank in my house. It's like we make all these things into big deals. What women really want to see is how do you react to adversity? So 90% of conversations with women, especially when women are being mean or pushing against you and they're kind of saying things that make you uncomfortable, they want to see how you react to adversity, because that's the most important metric when it comes to long-term attractiveness is how does he deal with adversity? And the better you deal with adversity, the more attractive you'll be. Short-term attraction might be height or muscles, but it really, most dating boils down to she wants to see you in a bad situation and see what you do.
Perfect. And one of the things that really creates a very strong romantic bond between a man and a woman, and you've probably heard of the hormone called oxytocin. Oxytocin is a hormone of love and romantic desire and wanting somebody. It's also a hormone that helps men perform better, actually, in a bedroom situation. It's an amazing hormone. It's created naturally in the body. And our sponsor, Ideal Male Labs, and Dr. Ari McGill, MD, a board-certified physician, created a formula that actually has shown to support good, healthy oxytocin levels. It's called Urgent Oxytocin Assist. And a lot of men are taking this and finding it just amazing. And I think you should try it. I think it's a game changer, honestly. There's also some of the key ingredient in Urgent Oxytocin Assist has been shown to help in many other situations, even maintaining healthy testosterone levels in men. So we have a special offer for you, 58% off of your first order. Just follow the link at the bottom for Urgent Oxytocin Assist. It's absolutely a game changer. You're going to absolutely love it. It was developed by the Dr. Ari McGill, board-certified MD, and it's a game changer for you. So look forward to hearing your experience with Urgent Oxytocin Assist. Thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you on the next video.